We're back again, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Speak On It. The host, I'm and Viv. Y'all know what it is. Make sure y'all subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit that like button, share, tell a friend. What we do. We talk about sports. We talk about sports awareness stuff. Anything that's remotely important to us, we're going to speak on it. We're going to speak out about it. We're going to speak up on it. But let's jump right in. James Harden was traded today. Right in. James Harden traded. 14 deal. I'm gonna break down how it impacts 5 teams though. 14 deal. I want to see. I want to break down how it impacts 4 teams involved, and if y'all, fan, so we're gonna start with my team as well. The Nets. I'm gonna tell you this. Man, they gave up nothing. And I was looking that up. Man, they really didn't give up nothing. Get James Harden, get a superstar. I don't think they gave up enough or give up a lot. That Houston got. Houston needed to move things. They needed to move things. They had to. But it's gonna read. Houston got Victor Oladipo. That's what the details are. They got Victor Oladipo. They got 3 first rounders and they got 4 pick swaps. Well, when you trade James Harden to the Nets with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, where do you think those picks are going to fall? Where do you think they're going to fall? They probably be third, the 30th pick, 29th pick, and then with the pick swaps, you ain't swapping no picks. You're gonna keep the picks that you got because your picks are going to be higher than their picks. So I love the trade, but I do love the trade. I'm gonna talk about it real quick from the Brooklyn perspective. If they can make that thing work, that thing's gonna be super scary. It's gonna be very, very scary because there's no one you can double team on that team. What I love about the deal also is that they kept Spencer Dinwiddie. They're gonna be able to keep Spencer Dinwiddie. I know he's out for the year, but say he comes back and pairs with that team, and he comes off the bench. That's gonna be a nasty, scary team to contend with moving forward. So I like it from the Brooklyn's perspective. I like them that they got James Harden, went all in to get James Harden. If he's bought in, I love it. I love it for that team because one thing you always say, they got those 2 offensive minds on that team, D'Antoni and Steve Nash. People keep talking about it ain't gonna be enough balls to go around. You might not need it with that team. Like they might be back to that within 3 seconds or less, 7 seconds or less. Like they might go back to that because they might have to do that to speed teams up just to get enough shots for those players.
I'm torn on the Nets. I got to see what this bench turns out to be now. I do have to see what this bench turns out to be. You lose LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie's out for the year, and then you lose Jared Allen. So I got to see what the bench is going to be. But with those 3, you could take one off and you're still in a great position to where a guy can really come in. Like you can just stagger them. They'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
As far this is my thing. Unless you are trading with how do I want to put it? A consistent bottom dweller. NBA draft picks don't mean much. Let's just be real. They don't mean much. So you can have that 4 first rounders or something like that. You might be able to dangle that out to get a superstar down the road if you need to, because those picks is, I think furthest out was like 2024 or something like that.
I think they swapped 2027 was a swap for them.
Okay, and then they started swapping at that. So they might turn. You know, what I mean, you could dangle those out later on, but in the present, I don't really think those picks really mattered. For the Nets, it was about getting another guy, especially now with Kyrie situation. We'll touch on that a little later. So for the Nets, get another guy. Now you're solidified, and it's a guy that's played in that system, that's familiar with that system, that knows the terminology. Like all he's got to do is get in shape, and that's it. And he's gonna be right at home with a guy that he knows in KD. So it's gonna be offensive fireworks. Like you defensively, they don't have to be great defensively. The other team is gonna have to be great defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's gonna be a thing. And now James Harden, he don't have to be the guy to take those big shots. He doesn't have to be the clutch guy. That burden isn't on him anymore. He has two other guys that's more than willing to do that. And now this is when he'll probably start to flourish in those moments because the pressure isn't going to be all on him. And now a guy might run off of him because KD is cooking, and then James is going to be catching and shooting. Like I think James Harden, this is probably the best fit for him outside of what I thought was Milwaukee. I still think Milwaukee was the best fit for him basketball-wise as far as with the team. But now that with the pressure not being on him, he's going to be even more comfortable. This is dangerous. This is going to be real dangerous.
I'm with you when you're talking about him not having to be the guy. Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is that the thing we've been talking about with James Harden for the past couple of years is his usage rate was super high, right? Because he had to do everything for the Rockets. So you see later on in the season, when the postseason comes, he's burnt out. He's burnt out because he's carrying the Rockets for 82 games because he don't miss games. And he played big minutes. So he's playing big minutes. He's playing 80 to 82 games a season on top of, because he's not getting knocked out in the first round. He never gets knocked out in the first round. So he's playing 4 to 7 plus more games. So you see the burnout on him. Now, when you play with those other two guys, y'all can basically, like you said, you can stagger. Okay, it's James' day off, which James probably is never going to take days off, but that's just who he is. But it's like they can say, okay, it's my turn. Now they can say it's really my turn. And I do love the fit because I think as much as people say, well, James Harden is a selfish player, I think James Harden is an unselfish player. I think he's an unselfish player because I think that he knows the game of basketball. He will get dimes. He will dish the ball. He will play in the pick and roll game. So I don't think he's a me guy. I think that he's just a high usage guy.
He's a guy that I believe that if he has to defer, he'll defer. But when he's the man, he wants the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Here, he knows who he's playing with.
You know who the man is.
And he's gonna fall in line. So I don't see an issue with that because I'm gonna be honest with you. There was times even last year where he kind of was nudging Russ to go a little bit. You know what I mean? There was times where he was like, yo, come on, man, like, let's go. And so I think he'll fall in line. I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like, when Kyrie comes back.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only thing. I think Vegas still didn't have them to be the favorite to be the champion.
Mm-hmm.
They're the clear favorite in the East now, but not the favorite to win the whole thing. And I don't understand that.
Here's what I think, because when we think about what happened with last year when the Lakers got AD, the Lakers wasn't the favorite last year. It was the Clippers. They favored the Clippers. I think because it's a newness thing, and they already know what they have in AD and LeBron. That's why they don't want to really nudge to put them as the favorites. But for me, you put those. If they would have traded Kyrie and it would have been just been James Karis LeVert, and KD, I still wouldn't put them as the favorites to come out of the East. I still would have probably put them as the favorites to win it all because I think KD and James Harden are that good offensively. And we seen last year with Russ and James. I know they lost in 5 games, but that's because they were small and they didn't have a KD. If you know one person that's a LeBron kryptonite, it's that guy on Brooklyn. He want that smoke. He want that smoke. The only thing they don't have no answer for AD. No answer. You DeAndre.
You got to just throw DeAndre at him because they got rid of Torian too. Like,
yep.
That's enough. Like, again, I got to see what this bench is gonna look like. You know, I know Joe Harris is probably going to be coming off the bench when everybody's back and on the team or whatever. Joe Harris is going to probably be coming off the bench. But other than that, I'm not really sure.
What I'm interested in seeing, like you said, is who's actually that fifth starter? That's what I'm interested in seeing. Is it Joe Harris? Yeah, I mean, who's going to be that fifth starter?
I'd have to move Joe Harris to the bench because I'm gonna need some firepower coming off the bench.
I agree. I'm with you.
He might have to be the odd man out. Sorry, Joe.
I think Joe was coming off the bench since
KD's been healthy anyway.
Since KD's been healthy and Kyrie's been out. I think they moved him to the bench and they moved Karis LeVert in the starting line. So it is going to be interesting. But again, I think when you have those 3 guys, it's Steve Nash really can say just go figure it out. Go figure it out. And you got, to me, the most unselfish superstar that allows everybody to be themselves is Steph. But if I'm talking about another unselfish superstar that allows everyone to be themselves, it's KD. It's KD. He does not need the ball to score. He does not need the ball to score his 30. He does need the ball, but he'll need to dribble. He'll need to dribble the ball. He don't need to dribble the heck out of the ball. He can catch and shoot. He can put you in the post. He can do it all. He's not a high usage guy.
Maybe Jeff Green starts.
Maybe. Okay. Power forward. And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say this real quick. AD. I'm not saying Jeff Green can stop AD, but Jeff Green tough. So Jeff Green can actually play. He and AD sometimes plays down to his competition. So
I say this because I know the narrative already. If KD wins another ring, and they're gonna be like, man, well, he had all of that help. That's LeBron fans. LeBron fans are gonna be like, he had all that help. Like, oh, God,
listen, LeBron.
So did everybody else, man.
I said you got a lot of help.
You know what I mean? So and then Oladipo.
Yeah, that's what I want to get to you real quick. I'm glad you went there next because I feel as though the Rockets got better adding Vic. I don't know if the Pacers got better adding Karis LeVert and subtracting Vic. Because as good as Karis LeVert is off the ball, with the ball in his hand, he's not the defender that Victor Oladipo is. So I don't know. I don't know what that move's about unless they wasn't planning on, or Vic wasn't planning on re-signing with the Pacers. Because I think Vic is a legit on the cusp of superstardom, and I don't know if Karis LeVert is on the cusp of superstardom. He's a really good player, but Victor Oladipo, he's been a 2-time All-NBA defender. He's been a 2-time All-NBA player. He's been a 2-time All-Star. He's just coming off of an injury, and this year he's balling. He's actually playing well this year, and I still don't think he's fully healthy, which is perfect for the Rockets. I mean, because they got all they superstars is not fully healthy. So, so
For me, I like the move for Indiana. I think Karras is another ball handler for that team. Um, he's not the defender. He's not the defender that Vic was, but he stays. For the most part, he stays healthy. You can count on him, and I don't think Vic was going to resign.
okay.
Now for Houston, if they can stay healthy, if they can stay healthy, and you can re-sign Vic, the Rockets are in a really good place, man. In my opinion, James Harden just didn't want to be there, and because James Harden didn't want to be there, the chemistry was never going to get right in the locker room or on the floor. Now that you have that removed and you bring in Vic, now you can basically start from scratch. And John Wall looked good, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's John Wall is looking good. He looks healthy. I'm with you. I don't think Vic looks healthy as of yet, but he's looking better than he did last year. He looks better than he did in the bubble. That is a good sign. I like Houston.
I don't like them to make the playoffs still.
They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs still either. But I don't think it will be because of. I don't think it'll be because they're not playing well.
Right.
I just think it'll be because the other teams
are just.
But good. I won't actually. I take that back. I think they can push for the 9th or the 10th. I keep forgetting it's expanded.
Even with the buy, even with the playing, I don't know if this. Even with the playing, I just don't know if they can make it. I think John Wall coming off of that injury, Vic coming off that injury, Boogie coming off that injury. I don't know if this is the year that they actually get in. And also, what is Steven Silas's offense? What how does he still needs to integrate all these new pieces? They got a lot of people that's playing at a high level individually, but it's not equating to wins. It's not equating to team basketball. Like Christian Woods is balling, having a career year. He's going to be the most improved player, but it's not translating to wins. So I think
that dark cloud of James Harden looming over him, I think that played a role into it. I think that being removed, you can, if John Wall can stay healthy, because he missed some games at the early at the beginning of the year. I think he missed one last week because of migraine or something. So he's missing games too. So if he can stay on the floor, I can see them pushing for a 10th spot. For the 10th spot seat.
I can definitely see them fighting for the 10th spot. They have more talent than some of the teams that are beneath. They got more talent than the Spurs. To me, they have more talent than the Spurs. So I'm with you. I just don't know if they actually win the game to get in the postseason, the playoff. So I do agree with you that they will be fighting for that 10 seed, 9-10 spot. But I don't know if they actually win the game to get into the playoffs. But I think they also need to figure out what they're going to do with PJ Tucker and Eric Gordon as well. Because PJ Tucker, I think, wants out. He wants a new contract. And what is Eric Gordon's role? So if they can move those pieces as well, get rid of everybody with the old regime, and allow Steven Silas to build from there, I'm with you. I think they got something good going on right now. Just don't know why they were so adamant to get those picks when those picks aren't going to equate to anything. On the other side of that, what you're talking about, Indiana. Like you said, I like Caris LeVert as far as another scorer, but does he start, or does he come off the bench? What does that look like?
He starts.
Okay.
I say he starts. Oladipo traded TJ Warren down. Yeah, he starts.
Okay. I mean, I think he should start as well. But when TJ Warren comes back, what happens? I
say Karras played it too.
I actually trade TJ as well. I would trade TJ. This is last year's contract as well. That's what I would do.
If we can't re-sign him now, yeah, I probably would think about moving him, but I don't know. I think I might wait him out too because I feel like I don't know what I'm gonna get in return for TJ.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, and I keep forgetting Jeremy Lamb is out for them.
Yeah, they got.
I think if they're fully healthy, I think they're just as good as we thought they were going to be before.
I'm with you. I agree with you. I think that they have good problems to have. I think that they have good problems to have. Now let's do this fourth team because I was like, I don't know why they was involved, and they got that player. Cleveland got Jared Allen after they traded for Andre Drummond. Why? Why are they kicking these bigs?
Andre Drummond's done. He's not going to resign to Cleveland. Not sure what the market for him will be though. Yeah, that's the crazy thing.
I'm in there.
I'm not sure what the market will be for him. He's going to have to really take it up a notch defensively and start putting himself in like defensive player of the year. Because if Rudy Gobert can get paid,
$206 million,
like Andre Drummond can get paid because that's a glass eater for real. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Cleveland getting Jared Allen was a good decision because now you got a center that you have for however long, and he's real young. I think he's like 22 or something like that, 23, something like that. I don't know. It's weird because you would think if Cleveland is involved in trades, you would think they would be a seller.
Or get picked, like you said, get some picks. Like you said, they should have added Kevin Love in the deal or something.
Like I'm sitting here. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, when I seen Cleveland, I'm like, why is Kevin Love not somewhere involved in the movement? Like, so I'm like, here we go with them. Just you scratch your head. Like, why did you not bring up a former All-Star who's still productive when he's healthy? Why didn't his name come up in the trade talks? Because it's time to move on from him. He's not a part of the future. He can't be a part of the future.
I was like, man, shoot, maybe we get Kevin Love. Maybe the secret.
Hey,
listen, Andre Drummond right now, boy, is 18 and 15 with three assists. Andre Drummond, he is. I'm looking at his blocks real quick and his steals. Andre Drummond, you're talking about defensive player of the year. His name should be in there. His name legit should probably be in there every year when I'm looking at his numbers. He legit should be. Last year he gave you 11 defensive rebounds a year. He gave you a block and he gave you 2 blocks, 2 steals. This year he's giving you 15. He gave you 11 defensive rebounds this year. He's giving you a block, 2 blocks, 2 steals. That's who he is for his career. So I'm with you. He legit should be on a team where he can be highlighted more for what he does.
Yeah, he wasn't winning nothing in Detroit. And then Detroit did him the best favor ever. They traded him to Cleveland.
Yeah.
So he went from worst to worst.
He went from Detroit. Let's stop doing Detroit to Cleveland. What the heck am I doing here?
You know what I mean? So they ain't doing many favors.
So
but he's in a situation. He's in a situation now because they're playing better. They're playing better. Colin Sexton is looking like he ready to make that leap. looking like he's ready to make that leap. So but Andre Drummond, I doubt he's gonna resign to Cleveland because they're not winning. So I wonder what the market will be for Andre though, because he does a lot, man. He can score. He definitely rebounds, and I think he's a good defender. I thought he was always a good defender.
Yeah.
So, but if you're not winning, they're not gonna put you in the defensive. I don't care what your numbers are.
Classes. You got to win to get awards. So I'm with you. Thing that I thought about before I touch on the 15 that was impacted. I think there will be a lot of teams at the buyout market that will sign in Brooklyn. So their bench, as of right now, may look a little shaky. But I think that when that buyout market hit, there's gonna be a lot of teams that a lot of players are gonna be like, I'm gonna go to Cleveland. Or I want to go to Brooklyn. So we'll see.
I can say
15 that was impacted, the 76ers. For me, I'm like, first of all, it was a report that said that Houston really never was going to trade to the Sixers at all. And when I was looking at it, I'm like, there's no way they turned down any deal that we could offer for this Brooklyn deal. Report said that they wanted Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, Ben Simmons, and picks. I'm like, what? Whoever the owner of that team or the GM is high. Ben Simmons, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, and you want all these picks. But when I look at what they got in return, I'm like, Victor Oladipo and picks. We could have did better than that, and not even including Ben Simmons. We could have did better than Victor Oladipo and 7 picks, not including Ben Simmons. So it led me to think like they really didn't want to trade with Philly, or they wanted to rob Philly, or the other report is Daryl Morey really didn't want James Harden. He just wanted to help out his old team, so he included them. He threw Ben Simmons' name out there. I don't know what the report is, but I'm excited that we didn't give up all those things for James Harden. I'm also excited that we didn't give up Ben Simmons for James Harden because there's another guy out there that I want, 2 other guys out there that I want that I actually think probably fits better with the Sixers, and you probably don't have to give up Ben Simmons to get him. So I like what I'm seeing with the Sixers, and I'm glad they stood pat, not really giving up all the mortgage in the future to get James Harden.
Agreed. I'm glad they didn't pull the trigger on any trade. I didn't think Ben fit with James, and I didn't think Joel fit with James, in my opinion. And I don't think, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think Doc Rivers fits with James. So I'm glad they didn't make that move. And I think it was more Daryl Morey didn't want to trade with them. Because I heard the report too about, the Rockets not wanting to make the move to give up their player they couldn't win with to go with the GM that they couldn't win with. But I'm like, isn't Mike D'Antoni on the bench in Brooklyn? So to me, that just throws that whole thing out because you just traded him to the coach that he couldn't win with you in Houston. So to me, I think it was more Daryl Morey didn't want to trade, didn't want to pull that trigger, and I wouldn't because they are when everybody's healthy. Mm-hmm. The Sixers are looking like one of the best teams in the NBA.
They are undefeated. They are undefeated with all their stars. With everybody has played, they are undefeated. So they lost. They have 2 COVID losses, and the loss when Joel Embiid, actually 3 COVID losses, and the loss when Joel Embiid sat out.
Yeah. So like I said, they are looking really, really good. So I wouldn't have made that move.
Now the move for me, I'm not just throwing out there. It's not part of it wasn't part of our itinerary or topic. But the move for me is I want your guy. That's who I want. I want him.
You want who?
Zach. I want Zach LaVine. Please.
And you don't have to give up Ben.
I don't think we have to give up Ben.
So who are you giving up?
Tyrese picks.
Tyrese, we got enough guards.
I know. Listen, your guard factory over there.
I tell you what. If the Bulls trade Zach LaVine and neither Joel or Ben is not involved in that trade, I'm not a Bulls fan anymore.
You're not sold on Zach. I wouldn't be a Bulls fan either, but you're not sold on Zach. Why is he not re-signed? Why isn't the contract not even offered to him?
Because they know he doesn't want to be there.
See, that's why.
Which is why I don't understand why they're not trying to trade. Because if you're not I've never heard of anything about they stalled on contract negotiations or he turned down. You know what I mean? I haven't heard anything of that nature. So to me, it sounds like they are in this. We're just going to either let him walk away, which is stupid. We're talking about an all-star caliber guard here who's just continuing to ascend every year. Mm-hmm. He's gotten better every year in the NBA. He's gotten better. I don't understand why you at least don't see if he wants to resign.
Yeah,
throw it out there. But if you're not trying to put things around him to win, I don't understand it. I mean, now Kobe is looking good. But I told you your boy can't stay healthy, man.
Yeah, Lori, or are you talking about Lori, or are you talking about
Lori, man? Lori, he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy.
Listen, speaking of Zach, right? We're just talking about him getting better every year. One, since he's been with the Bulls, he's gave you 24, 26, and now 28 a game. He's giving you 5 assists, 5 rebounds. He is shooting 90% from the free throw line. He's shooting 38% from the three and shooting 50% from the floor. You ain't losing because of him. And you have to build around him. And for me, the moves, when you bring in a Pat Williams and you have a Kobe White, stuff like that, this is why I say I don't think you're going to have to give up Ben to get him. I don't think you're going to have to give up a Joel to get him. I think you're going to have to give up somebody that they may feel as though that fits better with that team. Maybe a vet leader, somebody like that. I don't think that, like, Zach LaVine's name has been in trade talks for a minute. Like, for what? Like, man, you've been talking about it exclusively on here. You need to build around that guy. And I don't think they built around that guy, which is why I think that you're not going to have to give up something extravagant to get him.
I feel like we've done a good job building. Lori can't stay healthy. That's the one of the biggest issues that we continuously run into. He can't stay healthy. And then the other issue was we wasted years trying to find a point guard. Thankfully, we finally found him in Kobe, but we were wasting years drafting point guard after point guard. And then we started going get bigs, but the bigs couldn't stay healthy either, or they wasn't developing. I don't know. I think another thing that hurts us is freaking taking on the Otto Porter's contract. I would never touch that contract. So I don't know.
That's what I want. But speaking of point guards, what's up with your boy, man? What's up with him in Brooklyn? What's up with Kyrie in Brooklyn, man? Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
For a guy that's very expressive, he being mute. Like if you don't want to play basketball right now because you're so focused on whatever you got going on as far as your movement with social justice or whatever, then just say that, bro. And just take a leave of absence or whatever. But don't just leave everybody in limbo. You know what I mean? Like your teammates who you probably are in contact with, some of them might know what's really going on with you. But for the most part, it doesn't seem that way because it doesn't seem like the coaching staff knows what's going on with him. Doesn't seem like management knows what's going on with him. That's the only issue that I have. If he doesn't want to play basketball right now because his heart is in, social justice and everything like that, then bro, go do your thing. But at least communicate that with your people.
I'm with you. I agree with you. I was like, damn, when I seen that, it was like he was on a Zoom. I'm like, Kyrie about to be a lawyer or something? Like, he out here. But listen, human being Kyrie, I love him on the basketball court too. But human being, the way he fights for his people, you got to tip your hat off to him. What he's doing for his people, how the way he gives back and the way he's so passionate about what he's doing for his people, you got to tip his hat off to him. But like you said, Kyrie, you signed contracts. You got people. You got people who depending on you. Like, and again, maybe Kevin Durant knows what's going on with you. Yeah, I mean, maybe they know what's going on with you. If you owe to nobody, you owe it to that man who you brought to Brooklyn with you. He said you could call him up, say where we going. He said we're going to Brooklyn. All right, I'm there. I'm with you. You brought him to Brooklyn. He came back. He's doing his thing. So you don't owe anybody else anything. You owe him anything, but you do owe other people things. You owe your coach. You owe Sean Marks. You owe players, people, courtesy to say, listen, this is what's going on with me. I'm in between. Like I'm in between playing basketball, but I have this burning on the inside of me that wants to go out and give back to my people. Kyrie, let's be real. Another way. The way you give, the best way to give back to your people, you play basketball. That's the best way for you to give back, is for you to have that platform for you to actually give back to those people. And again, I mean, maybe you've already created a big enough platform where you don't need to play basketball anymore. I mean, I definitely understand that as well. But like you said, just you need to say that. You need to speak out and say those things and not say personal reasons. You know what I mean? Not just leave it at that. Come out and speak, and maybe he'll come out. He will come out and speak to the public. Maybe he will come out and say, give people an explanation. But but to answer your question, the question that you asked, question that you had, is he? I think I said, was he worth the headache? In my opinion, I think yes. Just based off of, you know what you're gonna give him. You take the good, you take the bad, and you weigh those two things. And I think that they thought that the good that he brings outweighs the headache that he causes.
Torn, real torn, and I'm torn simply based on the truth. Truth is, before LeBron, Kyrie couldn't win nothing. Truth is, when he was in Boston, they were better without him. I don't know if he's worth the headache, because I don't know if his talent produces the results consistently that you want. Because we act like he wasn't in Cleveland those years with LeBron when LeBron was getting swept. Like, that's how we act. That's how we act. We act like he wasn't on those teams, playing against KD. And instead, like, we act like he wasn't on those teams. So then he went to Boston and did that. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know if he's worth the headache yet. The jury's still out. Here's a guy, talent-wise, and I know people, talent-wise, he's the best point guard in the NBA.
Okay.
Talent-wise, he's the best point guard in the NBA. The total freaking package. In my opinion, he might be the best. He might be the best non-dunker finisher in NBA history. Like, that's who he is. Handles out of this world. But the results are the results. And the results are, in Cleveland, you couldn't win till you got LeBron. And then even when you had LeBron, y'all struggled to win. And then Boston was better without you. And now headaches in Boston, headaches in Cleveland, and now headaches in Brooklyn. I don't know if to take Kyrie off of Brooklyn right now with James Harden and KD, are they still the favorites to come out of the East? Probably.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just saying, I don't know if he's worth the headache. I got a feeling that he is going to be the person that derails the train. And that's the only hiccup that I have with Brooklyn is that I feel like Kyrie is going to be the hiccup that derails the train.
Listen, I understand everything you're saying. You know, there's also speculation out there that they don't know how good of a relationship him and KD have. And I think that's all rumors. I think they have a great relationship. Just like when Russ and James split, they were saying they didn't have a good relationship, and then you see later on IG, James Harden's at Russell Westbrook birthday party. Like, yeah, I mean, so it's all speculation. But like you said, I don't know. And NBA players who play with him said Kyrie's great, but you don't know what Kyrie you're gonna get. You don't know what Kyrie you are going to get. I'm just saying, as far as on court Kyrie, he's worth every penny, every dime. If you can, some way, harness the off court Kyrie and limit the exposure or limit the explosion that may happen in the locker room, I think he's worth every penny. But if he's a volatile to the team off the court, then I'm with you. You gotta get rid of him. So TBD.
Yep.
But as of right now, I think James Harden softens a lot of that right now. It softens a lot of it right now. Because now that they have James Harden, Kyrie, go ahead, you could do your thing. Social justice and all that stuff. And KD still has a running mate. Because I think they're good enough to get to the finals without KD, with James Harden. James Harden at his highest, KD at his highest, I think they're good enough to get to the finals.
Yes, I do. I believe so as well.
So, all right, I think that's all we got basketball wise for y'all. Let's turn our focus to college football real fast. Jamar, Devontae. Honestly, I'm an Eagles fan. I don't give a goddamn which one we get.
That's the most definite.
So, but I did go back and forth with it, man, because I legit thought Jamar was the better wide receiver. I thought Jamar was the better wide receiver. Then when you start putting on the tape, like, not saying that Jamar don't got tape, because he got tape. You look at Devontae Smith. You just look at him. Route running. Check. Hands. Check. He can go up and get it. Check. You can't name me one thing this man can't do. You can't name me one thing Devontae Smith can't do. Jamar Chase, we haven't seen him a whole year, so again, it's what have you done for me lately? Last time we saw him, he was with the wide receiver who just set the all-time rookie receiving for yards and receiving in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson. Had an all-time great offense, so that Devontae Smith. But who was Devontae Smith running mate last year or this year? Who was his running mate? Nobody. He didn't have a running mate. He didn't come in as the number one guy. That was Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle went down, and all Devontae Smith did was elevate his game. If I got to go with one of them, it's gonna be Devontae Smith who can take him first. It's gonna be Devontae Smith, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna add a little extra to why he'll get taken first. If Tua is still in Miami, if I'm Tua, I'm saying I want that guy. I want him. We came in together. We came in the same class. We know each other. You want this offense to take off? Get me that guy. That's a little extra added motive. But even if it don't, Devontae Smith is my guy, man. He's just he's a flat out monster. And again, it could be because what have you seen lately? And we ain't seen Jamar Chase this year. But Devontae Smith, man, he's a monster. He's been doing this since day one. Since day one, he's been doing this. He's not a 1 year wonder, one hit wonder. Jamar Chase had I think Jamar Chase had his first year. He had 17. He had 17 receptions. Then he had his breakout year. Then he didn't play this. Then he didn't play this current year. Devontae Smith, you've seen him every year get better. So Devontae Smith for me. I think he'll be number one receiver taken.
I still think it's Jamar. I think Devontae is probably he might be the more polished receiver, but I think the more explosive receiver, who's probably going to be able to handle the more physicality at the next level as well, is Jamar. Like Devontae is going to be phenomenal. Don't get it twisted. He's all. I'm not saying he is him, but how smooth he moves and how easy it looks at times, it reminds me of Jerry Rice. Listen, and I'm not saying he's Jerry Rice. I'm not saying he's Jerry Rice, but he doesn't look fast.
It's just smooth.
But he's so smooth and it looks so easy. But for me, it's Jamar because I think Jamar is more explosive. I think Jamar is more physical. And again, it's gonna be hard for Jamar to make that case after this guy just went out and won the Heisman and the MVP of the national championship game after one half.
After one half,
it's gonna be hard to make that case. But for me, it would still be Jamar because I just think he's more physical. I think he is more explosive. But I think if you go, you're not wrong. You won't be wrong for taking either one of them if you're in the market for a receiver.
I think
Cowboys,
please
don't you dare take either one of them.
That's gonna be. Listen, they're gonna probably get both of them. They probably get both of them. They're gonna trade Dak. They're gonna trade Dak to the Jets. Then they're gonna take Devontae Smith, and then they're gonna have Jamar Chase. They're gonna find a way to get both of them watched. But what you just said, right? I'm looking at Jamar Chase's career numbers. He got 107 yards. 107 receptions. 2,093 yards. My man had more receptions in 1 year than Jamar Chase had his whole career. But Jamar Chase averaged 20 yards per catch. Like you said, he's more explosive. Averages more yards per catch. So I'm with you. It really is pick your poison, which one you want. Jamar Chase is also bigger. He's 207 pounds, where Devontae Smith is only 174 pounds. But like you said, it's just something about him, man. He just looks smooth.
It looks like everybody else is moving in slow motion, man. And I'm like, man, you know where he's at. You better know where he's at. And he still is wide open because he's so crisp in his route running. He's exactly where Mac expects him to be, and that's why the ball was out of his hands before. Like the one catch, it was like a fade route, and Mac just threw it up. He knew where he was gonna be, and what's the corner from Wade? Shaun Wade.
Oh wait, yeah.
He couldn't get his hands on him. He was at the line, and he couldn't get his hands on him, and he just went past him. And I was like, this kid, he's different. He's different, and it looks real easy. And that's the thing about it. He doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat at times. It's crazy.
Listen, the crazy thing is, right? They said Jerry Jeudy is one of the most polished route runners to come out. He was the best route runner last year. You see Jerry Jeudy route running nasty. Jamar Chase, I think, is a better route. Is maybe even a little bit better route runner than Jerry Jeudy. It's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be. Listen. If I had to take one, it'd be, and again, it could be prisoner of the moment because, like you said, if you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it would have been Jamar Chase without a doubt. But then when you're watching, like, on the big stage, and he's still out here just the 200. Like you said, he had 12 catches, 215 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the half.
He had in a half what some people won't have their entire career. He had in a half what he put up video game numbers. That's what it looked like. In a half. He looked like somebody was on playing college football, road to the Heisman, and it looked like that's exactly what it looked like. He was just running past guys, man. It was fun to watch, man. It was fun.
It was real good. Real good. Again, Eagles. One of them will be there.
It doesn't matter which one.
It don't matter which one is there. Shoot, one of the three gonna be there if I'm gonna keep it roll 100. Which I think the other one should go back. I think Jaylen Waddle should go back. Not because he's not good, but well, you know what? Get your money, Jaylen. Get your money, Jaylen Waddle.
Speaking of going back, and on the other side of that Alabama beatdown, Justin, do you think he could benefit from going back?
I think he most certainly would benefit from going back. I think that he's going to be a first rounder regardless. I think there's mixed reports out there where some people like him as the number two quarterback, the number 2 pick. So people will say that Mac and Zach has passed him. I think mechanically, that there's things that he can learn. I also think that if he goes in the NFL, if he does come out, he needs to go on the right. He's not a I can play for anybody type of quarterback. I don't think that he's that type of quarterback. So I think that he needs to go back. If he does go back, to polish up certain things as a passer. Because another thing, in watching that game, I don't think he's as fast as I think he is. I don't know why. Because the one run he had, I was like, I don't know why I thought it was gonna be some Lamar Jackson type stuff.
I thought he broke. I thought he was gone.
I thought he was gone. And then I said he got caught. I'm like,
all of a sudden he wasn't, right? Yeah. I thought he was faster than that. I thought he was faster than that.
I thought he was a little bit faster. So if you're not that type of, and don't get me wrong, I don't think a lot of people is Lamar Jackson.
No.
Matter of fact, there is no Lamar Jackson. I think that he needs to polish up some of his mechanics as far as passing. And I think he can benefit. I think he could benefit from going back another year and maybe win the national championship and becoming the first overall pick. I'm gonna say this: you probably don't want to go to the Jets. You don't want to go to the Jets, Justin Fields. So if there's any incentive, maybe that's what gives you incentive to go back because you don't want to go to the Jets. But in all seriousness, I think that he'll benefit either way. But from what I've watched in the championship game, and I texted you about it, I said I think he should go back.
I'm with you. And as a Michigan fan, that hurts because I want him gone because I don't want to have to keep playing him. But for his benefit, I do believe it would be good for him to get another year under his belt. Think about it. He pretty much sat out his entire first year, right? Yep. And then he had 8 games this year?
Yep.
I'd say in 4 of them he didn't play well.
A couple of them, yeah, I'm with you.
So I think an entire season and another college football playoff run would do him justice, so he can leave a better taste in people's mouths, and there's no questioning what it is that he can bring to the table. I think people right now are questioning how good he is, and especially when you came into the season, you were Heisman hopeful. That ended really quick. I would say after maybe 2 games, he was no longer in the Heisman conversation. So come back, get yourself together, play an entire season. Then you're gonna have big games, get some bigger teams, and then you get that college football playoff run again. I think it'll do him justice. And also, we don't know what next year's class is gonna look like.
That's what I was going to say. I'm glad you said that.
This year's class is a little deep, and all it takes is for a team that everybody thinks should have took you, not take you, and then all of a sudden you start falling, and the next thing you know, you're back for day 2 because you didn't go in day 1. So go out, come back, kill the Big Ten because you're gonna do it. Kill the Big Ten, run through the college football playoff, maybe win a national championship, and then go into the draft.
I'm with you. This year, if he goes back, he will most certainly be on everybody's number 1 on their big board. Everybody's, because right now it's Sam Howell, and if he goes back, I think he will bump Sam Howell down. He will legit be the number 1 guy, the number 1 quarterback prospect coming out of college. He will be. So again, I think it only helps him. And just in that regard, when you're talking about, like you said, who knows what Mac Jones is going to be? You listen, if Mac Jones have a monster combine where he's throwing that ball, and you're like, Mac Jones got a bigger arm than I thought, and he's accurate. And then you look at Kyle Trask, he's 6'8", he's 6'5", 240. He looked the part, and then he have a monster combine. You like, wow, like Mac Jones looking good, Kyle Trask looking good. They got the production.
Then the kid from North Dakota State. He come out, have a great combine. Like, and again, like I said, I've seen it before. Like Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers just continued to fall, and you're like, man, why? Why? Now he hadn't turned out well for him, but he's a different breed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He in the conversation for being the good. I'm not saying Justin Fields can't be that type of guy, but I'm not sure if he can become that. I'm not sure if he's on that type of trajectory. So go back, man, and make sure that you let these people know exactly how good you are. Leave no doubt in their mind that you are the best quarterback.
Because right now, he gave us 2 different seasons, right? This first year, 34-1. He only had 1 turnover, like monster. I think he had completed 68% of his passes, stuff like that. He had a monster season. Then he came back this year, and it's like in less games, I think you had like 5-6 turnovers, interceptions. So who is the real Justin Fields? Which one are you? So.
Yeah. I don't think it would hurt him at all to go back. You know, I understand the risk of it, you know, and I'm a big advocate for going when you're hot.
Yeah,
but to me right now, bro, you're not hot. You kind of warm. You warm.
Yep. People iffy on you. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
People iffy on you, bro. So yeah, I agree. It's something we didn't touch on basketball, but I guess we can close out with it. Let's talk about this other news in Houston / Miami. So, Tua, man, there's players that's saying that Tua might not be it. He might not be it.
I will never say that I know football better than guys that's playing it at that level or whatever, but that's not what I seen. I seen a kid that made throws when he needed to make throws, but I also seen a coach pull him that I think kind of hurt his confidence. Might be real. He wasn't the same after he was pulled. And Fitz was given the chance to win that game. I can't remember was it at Denver?
Probably says MVP.
But when he got pulled from that game, he wasn't the same quarterback after that. And I'm not going to go as far as saying that he's not the future and he doesn't have it. I seen a guy that was really, really good. I think that his coach needs to make sure that he's reiterating that to him. And it doesn't help that he's got anonymous teammates saying things like that. Like these are the types of things that I'd rather, if you're going to say it, put your name on it. Don't be anonymous with it. Put your name on it. But also, you should be able to put your name on it because these are the conversations that you should be having with him and with your coaching staff anyway. So this shouldn't be anonymous. It should be, I said it because we've already had this conversation anyway. So that's where I have a problem. And what I don't like is, I hope this is a guy, it better be rookies that this was their first time playing on a Miami team that was actually good. It better not be veteran guys that's been used to a culture that was going in the opposite direction and now things are turning around and this is the type of stuff that happens. This isn't good. This isn't a good look for the Dolphins.
What you say, right? This is why I think it's vets. Because what you said just don't make sense. He's not it. Who is Fitzpatrick? Let me ask you this question. Where did y'all get to it at? Was it 4 or 5? I think it was the 5th. Mm-hmm. It was the number 5. That's where y'all got to it at. That's how good y'all were. That's how good y'all were last year. A worst 5 team last year. So you're talking about he's not it. Y'all had a shot. Y'all had a shot to get to the playoffs. And when did Tua come in? That Rams game, right? They weren't firing on all cylinders early on. It was firing on all cylinders with Fitzmagic or Fitzpatrick, whichever one you want to call him.
They were 1-3.
He wasn't firing on all cylinders.
They were 1-3. Tua came in and gave him an opportunity. Man.
He couldn't give them steady play. He makes winning plays. Now, Fitzmagic may be a gunslinger, but Tua is a rookie. And he don't got no weapons. Devontae Parker had his best year last year. This year, he was subpar. Preston Williams was injured. Grant was injured. Who is the go-to guy on that team? Mike Gesicki, who's a tight end. So all this stuff that say Tua is not it, I think that's just somebody who legit wants the guy from Houston. That's what I think it is. It's somebody who wants the guy from Houston. Because to say he's not it, based off of what? Just give me facts. Based off of what? What is your argument that says that he is not the guy? Because Fitzmagic comes in, throws it up, and I'm gonna tell you this: it's a reason he played for almost every team in the NFL. It's a reason, because he's not it. He's not it. You don't even know what it is because you've been having Fitzmagic this whole time, and everybody says that he's not it. So you don't even know what it is.
And I mean, and I'd rather you just say, like, if we can trade for Deshaun, I wouldn't have no problem with it. Just say that. But don't say that you don't think that this guy is the quarterback of the future for this team after he just had a rookie year where he took over this team and almost put you into the playoffs. So again, winning cultures are winning cultures. And this type of stuff does not happen in winning cultures. These anonymous quotes about a rookie quarterback who had a good year. Oh yeah, by the way, he's coming off of a nasty hip injury. Oh yeah, that's the truth too. So I'm like what did you, unless he had to win the Super Bowl for you to believe that he was the guy? Is that what he had to do in his rookie year on the Dolphins?
Apparently, this man. I'm just looking at his stats real quick. This man has, I think, he's had 2 bad games. He had a 62.5 passer rating against Buffalo. It's Buffalo. You know what I mean? And he had a 73.4 passer rating against New England. Every other game, he a beast. I'm not saying he a beast, but he's good. He's had 5 interceptions. He had 5 interceptions all season. 3 of them came in the last game against Buffalo. By the way, he also put up numbers against Kansas City. Come on. Stop it.
Or maybe that's it. Maybe they were upset because he played so poorly against Buffalo and in the season finale. I guess maybe that's it. Is that why you mad? Because he didn't
Because y'all didn't get the playoffs. Y'all lost that game.
Because y'all lost that game and y'all didn't get in the playoffs. Like, come on, man. He's a rookie quarterback.
Stop it, man. Give that man a full off season because again, he didn't even know if he was going to play this year. Had no idea he was going to play this year.
I didn't expect him to.
Nobody expected him to. The report said that he was probably going to sell all season. Come on, stop it. That guy, like you said, I'm with you. They need to weed out and figure out who that guy is and get him out of there. There are 27, 26 other teams that probably will want Deshaun Watson as well. So like you said, if that's the case, say that. Say Tua is good, yeah. I mean, Deshaun Watson Deshaun Watson's been doing this for a while. We know what Deshaun Watson is. We are that type of team. We are a ready-made team. We think we can go win the Super Bowl with that guy. Okay. All right. Ain't nobody gonna be mad at you about that. But like you said, to be anonymous and say we question his abilities. What does the report say? We question his abilities in the future, in his future. I question your future, your ability. Get out of here, man. Let's go to basketball. Let's finish with basketball so we can get up out of here, man, and we can get off this tour thing. New NBA protocols. Like, dislike. Couple things I found funny, hilarious. I thought was so stupid. One, no fraternizing before the game. So you can't shake people's hands. You can't talk to them. But I can talk to them for the next 4 hours, 3 hours. I can talk to them. I can shake their hands. I can guard them. Basically, put my hand on their body the next 3 hours. But before the game, I can't talk to them. And after the game, I can't talk to them. What sense does that make? Makes 0 sense.
Yeah, I can breathe on you on the court, but I can't breathe on you afterwards. But we just spent anyway. I think a lot of it was a joke. Like all of a sudden, like you're crossing the line and telling these people how to live their lives. Like it's one thing to say wherever you go, you have to wear a mask. I understand that. You as an employer, you can say that. You know, I need you to wear your mask everywhere you go. Not because I don't want you to catch it, one, but I can't have you testing positive, even a false positive, and having to miss a couple of games or something like that. Can't take that risk. So that's one thing. But I seen the rule where they're saying you can't associate with people that's not in your family. You then certain guys they have routines. Now you can't show up but a certain amount of time before pre-games. And I understand the road, keeping the number of people in the hotels down. That's understandable. But when you're crossing the line as an employer, when you're telling people who they can and can't have in their house.
They told them they can't leave their home except to go to grocery stores and essentials.
and team practice.
Me and my wife want to go on a date night. I ain't seen my wife. I'm on the Texas rodeo thing where I'm on the road. I'm on the San Antonio joint. I'm on the road for the next however many games, 12 games, whatever. I ain't seen my wife in 12. We can't go on a date night. We can't go on a date. We can't go out. That's what you're telling me. I can't take my kids nowhere. My kids ain't seen me in 3 months. I can't take my kids nowhere. We gotta stay in the house the whole time. Mm-hmm. You tell me I gotta stay in the house the whole time. Mm-hmm. What is this house? They put them on house arrest.
And again, this isn't the government mandating something is one thing, but your employer telling you basically how to live. George Hill said he was like, if we can't do nothing, like what's the point of playing? We can't do nothing. This is what I don't know what the NBA was expecting outside the bubble. I don't know. I really do not know. Like there should have already been roster extensions. Like if roster should have been expanded from the start,
from the jump.
You should have had like 18 to 20 people on the rosters. You should have been at it from the gate. You should have had it like that. Why? Because you knew this was coming. You knew this was coming. The NFL showed you that it was coming. Major League Baseball showed you. College football showed you. College basketball. Everybody showed you what was coming down the road outside the bubble. That you're not going to keep having these low positive rates outside the bubble. It's not happening. And it just seemed like the league that usually is forward thinking, that are most progressive, it seemed like they dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah. It made me think like what you're talking about. The question we had, I think Monday, we was talking about did they move too fast for the money? And I'm sure I'm thinking like, I'm like, yes, and everything about the money right now because, like you said, y'all are usually forward thinkers, and right now it just seems like y'all are behind. And when I think about geographically, it's super easy. Geographically, it is super easy to say, okay, the Sixers, you're gonna play. This how we're gonna set your games up. You're gonna play X, Y, and Z. Let's say you play the Heat 4 times a year. Well, you're gonna play all 4 of them back to back. That's what you're gonna do. But they don't want to do that because, well, what if Jimmy Butler's not playing in one of those games, or say Jimmy Butler out for a week? Well,
maybe out for a week.
That's the type of season we in right now.
I agree. They should have done like Major League Baseball. They should have done series. They should have done season series.
Yep.
Instead of doing this round robin all over the place, multiple trips, multiple nights, you stay in one city you stay within one region for a couple of weeks. And then you move on to the next region. Like there was a way that you could have figured this out. But when you end in November and then you don't want to wait until January to start, you want to start right again in December, you don't have really time to plan this out because you were trying to get through the bubble. And then once you got done with the bubble, you were worried about the off season. You wasn't even thinking about the regular season yet because you were still trying to get through the off season, whether or not you were going to have a draft or where you were going to have a draft or how you were going to have the draft, how you were going to handle free agency. And then you rush the season and now you get the results of it.
Yeah, all that stuff, like you said, all that stuff should have and could have happened immediately. Wherever the draft was going to happen, how was going to do the off season, and that way everybody would have been able to prepare for what's going on now. You could have been, and again, shout out to Adam Silver and Chris Paul and LeBron. I think that they are the best doing it in the game right now out of all the major sports. But right now, y'all drop the ball on this. You cannot tell. Well, maybe you can because they're the contract, like Dame Lillard said, that's our contracts could be voided because of what they put in place. But they grown men, man. Like, and I say it to the players as well. Y'all grown men. Y'all know what's at stake. And let's be real. Let's be clear. Just because you put things in place, don't mean that they're gonna get followed. Don't mean they're gonna get followed. But like you said, to tell somebody, man, I can't leave my house except to go to the grocery store or the practice. That's absurd, man. That's just dumb. I was here thinking like the only people you can really legit have, the only people you can legit go talk to is your teammates. Like Ben be like, yo, Joel, I'm coming over. You don't want to know that there's know what I'm going through. Like
You're the only one to understand.
you're the only one to understand, bro. I can't go nowhere. You can't go nowhere.
I really don't know what they were thinking it was gonna be like outside of the bubble, man. That was a controlled environment, and it just seems like they did not fully think out what was gonna be going on out here. And now understand that things just everywhere that the virus is ramped up right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's everywhere. So understanding that, you have to take more precautions. You have to take more precautions, and you have to, like, again, there was no reason to rush into the season, and there was no reason to not extend it.
Right. Not be prepared.
There was no reason to not extend it. Like, there was no reason to say, let's have 72 games so that way we're done again in April, and now we can get back to the way that the schedule is. Whew. Guess what, man? Maybe we need to enter into a different era of the NBA. Be accepting of that. Be accepting of that. And, you can still have the 72 games, but maybe extend it. Maybe have quarter seasons where you get 2 weeks off in between. Like, you've got to adjust to the times that we're in. Yep. You got to adjust to the times that we live in. You can't keep trying to do things the way you did them pre-COVID. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. And like you said, this all could have been avoided if they did one thing. If y'all expanded the rosters from the get-go. If you expand the rosters from the jump, now we're not worried. Because, again, I'm a basketball head, so when my Sixers ain't have Joel, Ben, and all the men playing, I'll still watch the game. You know what I mean? I'm a fan that way. I mean, and I like to see other people get their chances. You know what I mean? So we see that happen. If you expand the roster from the get-go, that's what you're going to see. People going to watch. You know what I mean, regardless.
And this was the thing. Isn't this what the G League is supposed to be for as well?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I thought this was part of what the G League was for as well, is that you can, like in the Major League Baseball, guy gets injured, you can go down and pull a guy up. Like, two-way contracts are a thing, right? That's what I thought. I don't understand this. That there wasn't any plan of guys being down multiple games. They never. I don't believe they really thought that they were going to have this many people, testing positive for COVID.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, hey, they got a lot to think about. They did put the rules and stuff in place. Some of it, like I said, is done, but I think also they are put in place to keep the season going.
I understand it. I understand it. Definitely understand the reasoning behind it. Just don't think it's gonna work. That's the biggest thing. Whether I think it's right or wrong, I just don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah, it looks stupid, but whatever.
Because hold on. Like, because I'm wondering, I'm like, man, is essential like contract obligations outside of the NBA? Is that considered essential? Like, I gotta make appearances for Nike, I gotta make appearances for Gatorade, I gotta make appearances for Hanes or Fruit Loom or whomever. I gotta make appearances for these people. So, like, is that considered essential? Like, I'm just like, I wonder, how do you control all of this at the same time? How do you police it? It's a lot.
I'm with you. And it's like what I just said, man. People going to do what they're going to do. I mean, they grown men. These are multi-millionaires.
Yep.
Multi-millionaires. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. Some of them gonna follow the rules. Some of them aren't. But you, like you said, you can't tell a grown. No way you can tell a grown man like, I'm gonna go see my kids. I'm gonna go see my wife.
Man, there's some people gonna be like Kyrie. He gonna go to his sister's birthday party.
Go to his sister's birthday party, and I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
I ain't mad at him. He should have had on a mask.
He should have had a mask on.
That's all. That was the only room. That was the only thing that was wrong with that situation.
And he should have knew who the heck was in the room taking videos. So, like I said, other than that, man, his sister turned 30. If you want to have some intimate for, I'm not mad at him doing it.
Nope.
Not mad at him doing it. So, I'm with you. Hey, listen, that's our show. We're going to tap into final thoughts. Then we're going to close it out. My final thought is basically on the heels of what we just talked about. Like, you gotta enjoy life. You just have to, because again, you never know when stuff going to change up on you. You never know. COVID has sent everything in a frenzy to where now these NBA players who've been doing this thing for years, living freely. The reason that they are able to move the way they move is because they go out there and perform, and they are some of the best athletes in the world, and they get paid to be that. But now they got to sit in the house and can't enjoy the freedoms of what they worked hard to get. Got to enjoy life. Have to enjoy life. Stop putting things off. Like, stop saying, well, I'm going to get to that, this, and I'm going to get to that later. Enjoy it in the moment, because you don't know if you're going to be able to leave your house later. So that's my final thought. Enjoy life.
My final thought, I'm getting ready to get a little political. My final thought, man, is about this impeachment. And I know a lot of people are torn on back and forth about it. I haven't really spoken on it. I think it's a good thing. But I think it's a good thing in the sense of he can't run again in 2024. That's it. He can't run again in 2024. That's the only good thing that's going to come about it. Like, I know people are like, it's real divisive. It's only divisive if you're a Trump supporter. Because even if you are a Republican, what happened in the Capitol last week, you can't be a fan of his. Like, I don't understand how you can still be a fan of him or his movement after something like that. So, impeaching, I wish him well. I wish no harm come to him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna miss the entertaining 4 years that he gave us. I'm gonna miss it. Joe Biden is not gonna be as entertaining as Donald Trump. Just being real. But be aware. His people not going nowhere. They're just gonna find somebody else to be the face of their movement. Like, I know Trump is going to be out of the way, but there will be another face of the movement. So don't think that there's some sort of victory because he's out of office. These people aren't going anywhere. He lost 2 months ago, and then they did that. So they're not going anywhere. So don't think that we've achieved anything by getting him out of office.
Agree with you, bro. I agree with you. Great final thought. Hey, listen, y'all enjoyed the show today. If y'all like our show, make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Share. Tell a friend. If you want to be on the show, again, cultural awareness, hip hop, sports, whatever it is, make sure that y'all click on our link tree. Hit us up in the comments. And follow us on all our platforms. But until next time, y'all, that's our show. I'm going to holler at y'all. Speak on it.
Peace.
Peace.